How you doing? This is Coach DeCarlo. Today we're going to be talking about manifesting, and we'll come from Mark 11:24. And Jesus says this: Therefore, I tell you that whatever things you ask in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it shall be yours. Now let's get into this. He says, Therefore, I tell you, I proclaim to you, therefore, anytime you see therefore, you have to see what it's there for. What do I mean by that? What was the scripture or what was the text before therefore? It says, if you say to this mountain, be picked up and cast into the sea, and you believe that it is so, it shall be done for you. So he says, speak to the mountain. And when you speak to the mountain, if you believe that that mountain shall be removed and shall not doubt, it shall be done according to your belief. What is the mountain in your life? What is the challenge that you're facing? He says, speak to the mountain, speak to the challenge, and say, be cast into the sea. Now, when we're talking about prayer, many of us believe that prayer is the begging and the pleading from God. But when we understand that we're energy systems, spiritual beings having a human experience, whatever it is that we're vibrating, that's what we're transmitting into our world. So if we're begging and pleading, of course, the only thing that we can get is more begging and pleading. He says, but therefore, I tell you, I proclaim to you, I say to you, I tell you this, that whatever you ask, desire in prayer, believe that you shall have it, and it shall be yours. The asking, like I said, asking is getting into the state of believing. What is it that you're believing right now concerning the things that you desire? Do you believe that those things are impossible for you to manifest in your life? Do you believe that manifesting is difficult? Do you believe that manifestation doesn't work? What are you believing, creators, concerning your prayer or your request? What is it that you're requesting? And what is your belief about that requesting? When we're talking about the prayer, we're talking about the ask, seek, and knock. When we're talking about asking, we're talking about affirming, speaking forth. I tell you, Jesus says, I tell you, I proclaim to you, I say to you. So when we're talking about asking, we're talking about proclamation, decreeing a thing. He says, decree a thing and it shall come to pass. What are you decreeing in your belief system? So what are you asking for? What are you seeking? When we're talking about seeking, we're talking about what it is that we see in our imagination. What story are you telling yourself by way of your predominant thoughts? That nothing ever works out for me, these things don't work, this stuff is a bunch of crock. Who are these people? Can they manifest multiple millions of dollars? What story are you telling yourself? See, the story, if you're not careful, acts as a distraction to keep you where you're at. So when you begin to seek, you have to seek that which you desire. If you're seeking wisdom, wellness, and wealth, success, loving relationships, more money, better health, then you begin imagining the thing that you're seeking. But if you're seeking for these things don't work and you're looking for a flaw or you're looking for something to be misspoken, what is it that you're seeking? Because whatever it is that you're seeking, you're going to find. This is knock and the door is open. Ask and you always receive. Seek and you shall find. What is it that you're seeking? What are you giving your attention to morning, noon, and night? What are you watching on TV? What are you talking about with your friends? What are you watching on YouTube? What gets all of your attention in your seeking? When we're talking about the asking, when we're talking about the prayer, we're talking also about the knocking. What is it that you're feeling about the thing that you want to manifest? See, you can talk affirmations, abundance, and money comes to me easily and effortlessly, but if at your knocking, your core level, your feeling level, you don't believe these things to be so, then you're only going to reproduce more of the not believing it so. And what you will say in the end is, these things don't work. Let's talk about whatever. What is encompassed in whatever? Everything. It says, whatever you ask or desire, depending upon what text you're looking at, believe that you shall have it and it shall be yours. What's encompassed in the whatever? Anything that you can ask, think, and or imagine is covered in the whatever. But then you have to begin occupying the state of whatever. As I often say, lifestyle follows beliefs. So if it is more money, then you have to begin occupying the lifestyle of someone who can attract in their lives more money. If it's better health, then you have to begin occupying the lifestyle of someone who can attract better health. If it's a loving relationship, then you have to occupy the lifestyle of somebody who can attract a loving relationship. And I would suggest this: first and foremost, have a loving relationship with yourself. I was talking to Mr. Lindo recently, and he says, most people really don't like themselves, because if they like themselves, then they would be living the life of someone who liked themselves, as opposed to all of the searching that they're doing. And I had to think about that, and I came to the realization this is why so many billions and trillions of dollars are sold in the market of self-help, personal development, buying that new car, that better relationship, because we're always looking for something outside of the self. But in order to attract that thing to yourself, it says, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord thy God is one." I like to say that the Lord is the law of right decree. What are you decreeing in your life, morning, noon, and night? It says, "But the Lord thy God is one." I like to say that God is the good that one desires. What is it that you desire, creators? Hear, O Israel. Israel, the person, the man, the woman who walks as God. You are Israel. Hear, O Israel. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, your soul, and your mind. And the second commandment is liken it, or similar to it. You shall love your neighbor. Don't miss the last portion. See, we stop with our neighbor. It says, but you shall love your neighbor as yourself. See, so when we begin to manifest, if we're operating from a place of love, love of God, love of self, love of others, it says, whatever you ask, desire, believe, when you pray, believe that you have it. Now, when we're talking about believing that we have it, believing is believing it real, feeling it real. In one of Neville Goddard's books, it was called Feeling is the Secret. You have to believe or feel it real. Neville would often say, listen, don't look at your manifestation or living in the end as though you're looking at a movie on a screen, but that you're the actor in the movie on the screen. When we begin living from, what we're telling subconscious mind is that this is our current reality. So scripture says this: believe, feel it as real, that you have already received. Now, some texts say it as in future tense, but the truth of the matter is you have to look at it as though it's already yours, feeling it real. Received it. What is it? It goes back to whatever. In Old English text, it said whatsoever. When you believe you received whatever, when you begin operating, living from having the thing that you desire, pray for, ask for, seek, knock, when you believe, have a mindset, feeling it real, living it out, living from that end, when you believe that you have it, and it, what? Whatever shall be yours, will be yours, must be yours. This is because of Scripture. It says that God cannot tell a lie. So when we're talking about these principles, these are not principles based off of fairy tales, but you have to understand how mind works. When you begin living as if, when you begin living from the state of having, being, doing, when you begin to walk it out, it shall be yours. Now, just because it hasn't materialized in so-called reality, the 3D, virtual reality, it doesn't mean that it's not on its way. Often, when we begin to see it here, it takes a second to see it out there. So don't be discouraged when it doesn't appear to have manifested in your life. We're told in Scripture, Daniel was praying for the deliverance of Israel, the children of Israel. They were in captivity in Babylon. And he had continued to pray, even though he did not see the results. And an angel, a messenger, was dispatched to Daniel. And he said, listen, Daniel, beloved of God, you're the Daniel. You are the beloved of God. It says, Daniel, beloved of God, the moment you begun to pray, the answer was being dispatched to you, but there was a delay. A delay is not God's denial. When you begin to see that thing as real, it takes a second, even in the quantum universe, to manifest itself in the physical reality. When you begin to believe that you've received it, what is it? Whatever it is that you're imagining in your mind's eye, imagination, let's be clear, and it shall, will, must be yours. Creators, when you begin to operate in these principles, this is not wishful thinking, this is not magical thinking, this is how life works. You decided to go to the store and pick up something from the store. You had no doubt that whatever it was that you decided to pick up the store, that you were going to go to the store and get that item. Even if you went to a store that didn't have it, you went to another store. You continued on. You were resolute until you brought about the manifestation of whatsoever. You say, well, coach, that's going to the store. You're going to the store of the infinite universe. And when you begin to go and put out your shopping list of what it is that you want to manifest in your life, whatsoever, you decide and say, okay, I'm going to go to the universal store and I'm going to manifest a loving relationship. I'm going to manifest more money. I'm going to manifest better health. You don't doubt that you're going to manifest those things. Therefore, I tell you, whatever you ask, desire in prayer, believe that you have received it. It shall be yours. Creators, don't look at this solely as a religious message. This is how your mind works. You do this morning, noon, and night. You decide, I'm going to get up today and I'm going to go to the park and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. That's manifesting. What I'm asking you to do is to be a more conscious creator. Decide on the thing that you want to manifest in your life And then remember, therefore, whatever you ask in prayer, believing that you shall have that thing, that you have it, that you've already received it, and it shall be yours. Creators, only you can create your perfect world, not God or man. Only you can create your perfect world. This is Coach DeCarlo saying, have a great and abundant day.